We are back with Chapter 6 of The Mandalorian. We get introduced to this band of bounty hunters. Mando is going straight Michael Myers / Batman in this episode. And Baby Yoda has to fend for himself. We're going to talk about that and much more. Chapter 6 of The Mandalorian was titled The Prisoner. The Mandalorian joins a crew of mercenaries on a dangerous mission. What's going on, everybody? Elliot here from Movie Files, back with my weekly recap and review of the latest chapter of The Mandalorian. Very excited to talk about The Prisoner with you all today and a lot of stuff that we got in this episode. I'm very excited to talk about it with you all. Before we dive into this spoiler discussion, this is a spoiler review, definitely consider subscribing to my channel. Hit that bell so you can stay up to date with all my Mandalorian reviews, Disney Plus reviews, TV reviews, movie reviews, and all the fun things we do on this very channel. And if and when you've seen this chapter of The Mandalorian, I want to know what you all thought of it. Let me know where this ranks for you in the season thus far and what you're hoping to see in next week's episode. So let's jump into it, right? This was a band of misfits, kind of Suicide Squad type of group that we get here. And I'm going to say off top, I really enjoyed this episode. You know, this season has definitely kind of played out a little bit differently than what I expected, but I'm used to it at this point now. We're seeing Mando going from planet to planet, meeting these interesting characters. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. And he does this mission, and we're on to the next one. And this is kind of what it is. It's a week-to-week kind of fun band, kind of bounty hunter type of show as advertised. So I'm used to what we're getting now. I do want to see how this season kind of wraps up, because it's been kind of, I don't want to say one-off episodes, but it's been this type of vibe where we're introduced to a band of characters, or one character in particular. They're either killed off or saved for maybe later seasons or whatever the case may be. And it's just that, so I'm very interested to see how these last two episodes wrap up. But in particular, let's talk about this episode, Chapter 6, titled Prisoner. So Mando, he runs into a group of misfits, kind of like I said, Suicide Squad type of scenario here, where we get this guy Rand, who has a history of Mando. He says he has a job for him, and no questions asked, but I'm going to have you tag along with this group. We're going to use your ship, and that is what it is, So we see Mando going on this mission, and he knows some of the members. He's introduced to some of these members for the first time, but he has this kind of relationship with this character named, what was her name? Xion, I believe, who was very, again, I say Suicide Squad type of group. She reminded me of someone of like a Harley Quinn type of character, which was very interesting. She was kind of took a little bit to get used to her, but I'm glad they didn't kill her off, because I would like to explore that relationship with her and Mando, as well as we've seen this type of species before, right? If I'm not mistaken, that species, her and her brother Quinn, I believe we've seen that species in a prequel series, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember the Jedi's name, but it was a creature that looked very similar to them. But we get them, we get some other Bill Maher as Mayfield. Who else do we have in this group? We got some other people here that I found very interesting. The droid that we get, we got some really cool cameos. I don't know if it was me, but I thought I saw R2-D2 at the very beginning of the episode. We get the creature from Han Solo that was one of the prisoners, and that might have been that particular character, even though he didn't speak. We also got directors making a cameo. I believe that was Dave Filoni, Deborah Chow, and Rick Famuyiwa, who was the director of this episode. So I liked all the little Easter eggs and cameos that we got. That was really fun. But as far as the episode goes, they have to save this prisoner who happens to be Xion's brother, as we find out, who isn't a fan of Mando, as they try to trap Mando in the jail cell there. But they're given this mission. And we all knew they were going to turn on Mando, especially when they found Baby Yoda kind of hiding out, which I kind of liked that moment where Baby Yoda was kind of hiding on the ship from that droid. Baby Yoda, I mean, let me digress a little bit. It is easily the most cutest, adorable character in the Star Wars universe. And I'm talking about this Christmas season. Those Baby Yoda toys are going to sell out like freaking Elmo toys many, many years ago when I was a kid. But anyway, I love Baby Yoda in this episode. He tried to use his force powers, and he wasn't able to. I wonder, is that alluding to something? It was just kind of pressure for him. It happened too quick, but very interesting that he wasn't able to use his, his Jedi, his force powers against that droid, and, Mando had to save him. But, on the mission, again, we got a Bill Maher, who I really kind of enjoyed in this episode. He kind of reminded me of kind of a somewhat Han Solo-ish type of character, where he's just like, I got to get the job done. He's kind of sneaky and quick-witted with the jokes there. So I like Bill Maher in this episode, as well as, like I said, the group that we got here. I was very surprised that they didn't kill him off, but very happy they didn't because I would like to see them interact with Mando again. Again, in this episode, we find out a little bit of Mando's past. He does not take off his helmet, even though it's mentioned a couple times in this episode, and it was very interesting again because Mando he cares about Baby Yoda, man. Even at the very end of the episode, he gives him his little toy at the end. But, all in all, I thought that the episode was pretty solid across the board. No big reveals. And really, we didn't find out who that character was from last week's episode, but I'm pretty sure we'll find out next week. But again, I'm liking how we're getting these episodes, what they're presenting to us, which is we're going to these planets. We got these missions. They're somewhat one-off missions, and I'm enjoying them. I like this episode a lot more than I did the last two episodes. Not that the last two episodes were not great, but I just wasn't liking some of the characters and how things wrapped up. But this episode was definitely kind of fun and entertaining. A mixture of, Rick, I feel like Rick Famuyiwa, who directed this episode, brought in elements of like aliens. Again, I said, Mando kind of reminded me of Batman at times. Again, very DC. Again, I don't know if Rick Famuyiwa is getting his opportunity to be some DC stuff because he was originally going to be directing The Flash. So this was kind of like his DC episode where, again, I saw some Suicide type of cast members. Again, I said Mando reminded me of Batman when he was going in the hall behind Bill Maher. Reminded me of Batman when he was walking up to Lex Luthor and BVS. And other little vibes that I got kind of reminded me of DC stuff. But I really enjoyed this episode. I'm very excited to see how this season wraps up. But overall, I was very pleased with what we got in this episode. And I'm excited to see these band of characters again in future episodes. So let me know what you all thought of The Prisoner, some of your pros, your cons, some of the Easter eggs you all saw in this episode that you liked. And let me know what you're hoping to see in the next episode with Chapter 7. So there you have it. Really enjoyed this review. Enjoyed this episode of The Mandalorian, but let me know what you all thought of it. Subscribe, like this video, comment below, keep an eye out for some more content I have coming today with a movie review for 6 Underground on Netflix and also Apple TV Plus show, The Morning Show, and I'm going to be reviewing The Servant this weekend, so definitely keep an eye out for those reviews. Also have a giveaway going on for It Chapter 2 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Click that link above my head so you can find out how you can win some free movies. Again, thank you all for watching this review. I will be back next week reviewing Chapter 7 and very excited to do so. So again, follow us on all of our social media accounts, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching this review, and we'll see you on the next one.